Yeah, there goes the blackout. Yay. Good morning, Dave. How's things going along? JJ's just BRBing to prepare himself a not quite instant hot beverage.
Hey Dave, how are you, buddy? Just got back from making me coffee. I was watching the oh, by the way, how are you, mate? Before I move on. I was watching. Gee, that was a. Did I black out or something? That was the quickest response, unless you asked him how he was and you saw it.
Column A, column B.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I was watching Meet the Harvest Driver, the worker who got to drive the harvester back, and he managed to hit the same power pole as the driver, the worker that was driving the whatchamacallit back.
Truck.
Truck, yeah, no, not truck, the other harvester, the cabbage, the pterodos. But this one managed to actually fix the issue and carry on without me intervening, so, but he had the cheek to ask for a raise to be paid more than the other worker because he could figure out how to do that. And I sort of pointed out to him that the size of the tyres on that harvester sort of played a part in that, considering they must be made out of the same material they make trampolines with, because it bounced right off, and that was the reason why he got round. And the worker just sort of replied, well, you know, a no would have just been quicker to...
And for the most part, I've got it trimmed off for east-west long passes.
That was my next question. Let me just follow this up. I'm not going to worry about repairing it at the moment. We'll get as much done as we can. Oh no, don't you dare. I don't pay you to slam shut on me. I pay you to open up and then let me in and then shut and not let anyone else in. That's your job, Gate. That's what you're paid to do. Not that I'd pay anything, but...
Well, you pay for the electricity for the motors.
Right, that's what I feed him for. Feed him electricity. So are you going to go up and down, or are you going to go across, or are you just still doing another headland? Which way are you going?
Well, as I said, the east side of the field has been squared off, the north side of the field has been squared off, and I'm just taking off these triangles, but given once you get past that factory, the longer edge is east to west, so I just figured following that pattern would be the best way to go.
East to west?
Left and right.
Yeah, no, I was thinking more north and south would be... Oh, hang on, I'm looking at the wrong field. No, you're right. I was looking at the wrong field.
No, don't go omitting that, it will go to my head.
I was looking at field 52. So have you done a headland round by past the...
Not off the west side, no. So for that L shape that covers that yard, I haven't touched.
Alright, I'll do that just to give Autodrive. Autodrive likes less complications as far as crops when it comes to pathfinding. Mind you, that's we'll probably fill up pretty quick, because this has got a full fertilised state on it. Oh!
Well, you'll see how much I've done, and I'm only half full.
don't have access to the land. Really, why was I driving on it then if I don't have access? I see a flaw in your statement there, game. That's what I was driving on, the floor.
And there is a difference between permission and physical capability.
Yeah, you said access, not permission.
Yeah, but access implies permission.
Well, they shouldn't imply it, not these days. Considering you need warnings on your toasters not to put it into water and stuff like that. Common sense has gone out the door. Old school parenting is no longer available for most people.
That was going to be one of those ones for the stupid drama news, as I like to call it. Because, you know, they like to use, oh, such and such happened, and then you will be shocked, and shocked this, and shocked that. For the Australians out there, it's called a current affair. It is the most... I bang my head against the desk every time they do a report on anything. I'm just like, why am I even watching this? So the latest one is, parenting these days, how far is going too far? Is it wrong to smack your kids ever? And so you got the parents background, yes, I would never smack my kid, as the kid's like literally kicking the side of the parent's car, putting a dent in the Camry. I'm like, well, on one hand it's only a Camry, but on the other hand, if I did that as a kid, that'd be a red bottom and in the room for a week.
Is it not illegal to smack your kids?
Well, this is the part where it gets really weird, because I imagine, like, if you sit there and lay into your kids, that's obvious abuse. But I mean, if a kid wants to misbehave and you want to give them a quick little backhand to say, oh, fuck up.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's a fine line between abuse and discipline. Now, I personally think, and I'm sure I'm going to ruffle a few feathers here, but I personally think at a certain age, kids need, let me put it this way. Everyone learns by fear when it comes to a dangerous thing. If you touch something that's hot, you get burnt. And it's the fear of the getting burnt that stops you from touching it. Obviously, as a kid, you don't understand that. And you got the option of letting your kid burn themselves to learn it, or you can tell them about it, which they learn. But it's just one of those things we learn out of fear. We don't do something because of the fear of something happening. Now, as far as I'm concerned with kids, there's a certain age where they don't... You can explain something to a kid as why not to do something. They won't get it and they'll probably end up doing it anyway. In fact, they normally do. I've seen it. We've all seen it. Probably all parents have seen that type of thing. And there's the fear of getting punished. It will stop them. Now, these days, I think kids push things further and don't have much of a worry about consequences anymore, as they should, personally, because the punishment is not as drastic, shall we say, in comparison of getting a smack bum. Now, I think there's an age where that... Whoops, no, I need to turn it on. There's an age that works for kids, and then there's an age where you have to adjust that. I think that 2 smacks on the bum is more than enough. But the problem is there's parents there that go a bit overboard and it turns into abuse in that aspect. And they think it's just discipline. And the problem is because you learn that from your previous parents. Now, as parents, what you generally do is you take all the good stuff you learn from your parents and keep that. And the things you don't agree with, you adjust. So if your parents were a bit of if you didn't like one of your parents because you think they weren't that nice to you and everything else like that, just take a thought of what I just said about what we do as parents, what we take from our parents and that, and just think what they went through, what their parents are like, doesn't mean it doesn't stop them from actually being able to stop that, listen to you and think about it and go, okay, maybe you've got a point there, but you know what you know. You sort of live to what you know. But it's the problem is it's the kids that end up being, what will I say? My discipline was a little overboard as far as I was concerned. It went from being disciplined to, it was overboard. It did go overboard to what we class as abuse. Now, I'm not going to say which parent was doing that, but they were just thinking they were disciplining, but it was essentially, their intent wasn't to abuse me, but it went into abusement. So don't hold that against my parent, because I understand that the intent wasn't to abuse me, the intent was to discipline me, but it was overboard. And there's a lot of parents that can't tell that difference, and that's, here in this country, it's illegal. It's assault if you smack your child. So I'd rather have that law so kids don't go through that, because that's a lot for kids to deal with. And people say, oh, they get over it when they get older. They don't get over it when they get older. They don't. They just don't. It has an effect on them their whole life and the way they live and think and what they do. It's not as noticeable when they get older. It's less noticeable when they're kids, actually, I suppose. But
I was going to not counter-argue, but add on to that one is, as well as the style of parenting, because, I've, like, a couple of my friends absolutely love their mum to pieces, and the worst they've gotten is a light scolding, because that's all it's ever taken to bring them back into line if they step out. Me coming from a family with 4 boys, okay, so we've been smacked. I've copped the soup spoon, and I think the worst I've had is a garden hose across the back of the legs, but I deserve that one. But it also comes down to what I consider as the interpretation. Like, okay, it's fine to tell a kid no and, wrap them across the knuckles with a wooden spoon, like lightly, like, sort of, oi, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it also depends on how they interpret it, because my eldest 2 brothers, there was a 5-year gap. The parents were pretty strict on them, like, not like religiously strict, but they were, always kept them in line, be good little boys, stop messing around. And then they backed off a bit of that with my youngest brother and myself. And I think he's taken it as interpretation of, well, I got caught, I just won't get caught next time. He's been very sort of arrogant and strong-willed like that, whereas I've gone, okay, fair enough, I've done wrong, and taken the time to reflect on it.
I think it teaches consideration. Now, I've done a 45-degree angle, and this is what it's put me at.
Yeah, no, my snap should be 45 as well, because I'm definitely going east-west.
Yeah, 45. That is bizarre, because I lined it up right against what you had, and it decided, no, this is the 45-degree angle.
Yeah, which is unusual, because it looks more like 22. If it was 45, you'd be over in the other corner.
That is bizarre. But anyway, I mean, you're teaching your kids how life goes when you get older, and when they got to understand cause and effect, and then it also introduces consideration into their thought process, consideration for themselves, considerations for others. But I mean, I'll give you an example. The reason why I still think that hell adds is because I went to a college that was very bad. All you got was detentions when you did something wrong, and I ended up leaving that school halfway through the 2nd year with 83 outstanding detentions because I didn't care. It wasn't that much of a punishment, and I went to a school that had the cane. And boy, did that make a difference. And the attitude and the atmosphere in that school compared to the other one was absolutely brilliant as far as the students were.
As I say, I think worst I've had is one suspension of misconduct, and apart from the embarrassment of why it happened, which I won't go into details on that one, but I was like, so you're punishing me by giving me a day off school? Yes, I'm stuck at home because obviously the parents would rather cross, but I just like, well, how's that a punishment? I'm getting a day off school. But upper class withdrawal, that was one that got me. Messed up. What was it? Got too caught up in a conversation with a friend during it before a test started, and teacher called it. We didn't notice. We were sort of laughing at a joke, and right, that's it, upper class. So I think at the time I was in grade 8, and you get taken to a grade 11 class. Sit in a corner there, so you get all the big kids staring, going, "What's this kid doing here? What's he getting knocked on for?" And it was definitely more embarrassing.
I think I got more of a 45-degree angle going now. Yeah, that's all right. I mean, it's illegal here to smack your kids. You'll be arrested and charged with assault. I think it's part of the reason why there's such an issue with kids getting into trouble more these days and stuff like that. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's if it's to protect, that's a hard one really, but protecting kids from parents who think they're disciplining the right way but actually entering into the abusive side of things, then I'm okay with that. It still doesn't sort of help with, well actually, if I do the next row over and you go down and click that little bit, we'll be able to start doing our little synchronized harvesting on the next run, which will be perfect. So yeah, I mean, that's just me, that's my thought of it. There are better ways to do it. Kids don't like the fact that one thing they don't like is letting their parents down and feeling that disappointment. So, but I think if you do end up, if you're still a country that smack your kids, I think it's very important to afterwards sort of explain to them that you're not angry with them, you're angry with what they did, and you still love them. If you don't do that, I think that has a huge effect on them as well. Depends on the kid. You don't know what your kid is like too. Emotionally, we're all different. So
yeah, I think one of those things that makes me, well, that's one of the contrasts between one of my mates. He's very much the the big gentle teddy bear, goes around and hugs everyone. It's all well and endearing and certainly fun. But I've never been much of a hugger myself. Always found that a bit awkward. So the big teddy bear friend, absolutely leap into his arms. Hey, you going, mate? How's it going? Rah, rah. But everyone else, I'm not standoffish, but I'm like, hello, no contact.
I'll come down this. With my repair state, the best I can do is 12 kilometres per hour. Maybe I should have changed that to a smaller amount. We'll leave it for the moment. I'll let you catch up and then you can match my speed and empty out into me. I think by the time we get to the 60, it's a... Well, how full are you actually?
Only got 10%. Don't forget these have got the extended capacities.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Otherwise, I'm only topping out at 13 myself.
Yeah, I checked that as well when I looked up and saw the speed I was doing. And then checked it with yours because I remembered I had a very low repair state. I mean, it's better if you empty into me when we go down the other way when I'm in, you're on my right side going down the other way.
Technically, us going this way with me on your right now is the best way because that puts your pipe outside the field.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. If you fill me up while we're coming down the other way, like when we turn around and I'm on this side again, at least when we're coming down this way, it'll trigger the truck. So that's your line. That'll be your line here, which you ain't got any crop all the way through, and I've got this line here to do. So yeah, if you know what I mean, if we can get the truck to be triggered as we're coming down the roads we're coming down now, where my pipe's in the crop. That way we can get to the other end and he'll hopefully be close enough to I'm in accelerator pedal. Come and empty us out. Empty me out at least. It's a work in progress. The overlap.
Where getting that overlap from? Yeah. Because we've both got 13.7, 90 degrees.
No, I'm 13.68. I left it as it was. Did you change it to 7?
No, mine's 13.69 on the settings, but it's 13.7 on the readout. But that's more than 10 centimeters of overlap.
Oh, well, at least we've got the arrows do work, don't they? To adjust the GPS line, because you can just slightly adjust it that way. And I think there isn't a little bit of an overhang. I mean, by the header, like it picks up. Oh no, it's actually the left-hand side's got the overhang, so that's probably what it is. It's reading the 13 meters a little offset in the files compared to where the header actually is. You think that would be reading the collision as well? Well, the collision would be the same.
Well, they reckon shift and cursor keys are supposed to be, unless it's right shift. No, might be. This is conflicting with the advanced vehicle controls because shift and cursor doesn't shuffle the course.
Shift anchor? I thought it was just right arrow, left arrow.
No, because that just rotates my camera.
Hmm. No. We'll wait for you to get down here and you fill up. I'm at 50%, so before we go down the road, trigger the truck, come and empty us out. Coming to the end of another lovely summer's day, and you just look at that sun and that sky and you just think to yourself, why can't you do the graphics like ATS and ATS and ATS too? Oh, I suppose we'll find out in 22 how much of a difference they've made the whatchamacallit, the graphical engine,
because of the length of the pipe versus the header width.
No. Can you come on an angle and I wonder if there was extension. I've seen it done, mind you, the class ones. Have I pre-ordered 22? No, not yet, mate.
Gonna go with no, because I've been burnt out by, well, me and my other gaming group of friends have been burnt by pre-orders in the past.
Actually, I think this will be the first, well, apart from 13, but 15, 17 I did. And 19. Pre-ordered it. But, no, I'm sort of hoping that, I'm sort of close to the threshold to getting some money from Twitch. I was hoping to make it over the threshold this month, so I've just got to wait another 11 days to see if I make the full years too. I should hopefully made it over the threshold and use that to
throw into your gaming wallet.
yeah. And I'll be able
What's
to
the,
use it to buy some games I can live stream.
What was a prerequisite viewership, or just like hours watched, or?
Well, no. You got to make a certain amount of money before they pay out to everyone. Everyone has the same thing. You got to make $100 US before they pay you out. So if you don't make $100 US, say if you make 90, and then you don't ever stream again, you don't get the money. So they check it on the 12th, as far as I know. That's where it says approximate next update for the months, and then I believe they try and pay everyone by the 15th. That's my understanding of it. So whether or not it'd be nice to have a little bit of extra cash to be able to get some games to be able to stream with, instead of being in the usual boat where everyone, you know, man and dog, be able to get a game when it comes out and stream, and I've got to save up for donkey's years to get that game, and by then everyone's over it, but I really want to play it.
So it was about, oh, here we go. So, Giants, if you happen to be watching, a couple of preview copies would be good to, you know, promote the game ahead of schedule.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for the bits, bud.
I just totally stole your line, didn't I? Actually, no, that's right.
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter on this one, really. Well, it does, actually, if you want to empty out into me, but we can't do that, apparently. You see, I've got a heck of an overhang.
Yeah, but it's like some sort of offset, because...
No, I don't have an offset. I'll check that and everything. It's just...
Yeah. No, I don't expect it to have an... Like, I don't expect to accidentally set some sort of offset for the adaptive steering, but it's like, for some reason, it's throwing one on.
No, I think it's because of the way they do the modelling. Because you've seen it all the way through Farming Sim. When you use an implement, there's always, like, to the side of one of the implements, it's like if you're ploughing or you're cultivating or you're harvesting with a header, it's taking some of the crop, and yet it's just slightly away from the actual visualization of that implement. And I think when I come down the other way, it's taking more out one side away from the header than the other side. And when I turn around, it's obviously doing the opposite. And I think that's what's happening here. I think the actual width on the header itself, setting the XML, is not in the right position to what the header is, because you've got from memory, which you probably know better than me, when you do like a model of a tractor or an implement in Giants Editor, you actually got to put the position down for that implement. I don't know what for, but it's like same with here. It's like when you put in, say, that factory there in the map XML, it's actually got the position, like map coordinates for where that lies, and they've got the same thing with these for some reason. And I think that's possibly it. That's if it, oh right, and I turn around and I come back down the other way and it takes more out. Yeah, it would be nice, a little bit of extra cash. There's a lot of games I want to get and be able to think, but that's, like I said, that's the problem I've got is, hopefully I sent it to the right place. I'm sure I did. Is not having the cash. And because the other problem too, Dave, at the moment is Farming Simulator's coming out. And I'd like to get it. I wanted to buy it no matter what, but I'd rather be able to save that money and get it through Twitch. And but I was sort of banking on paying it out of my own cash, because I would love to live stream it when it comes out, and Farming Sim if anything. But the problem there, yeah, see, it's got a missing line here. We're missing a whole row.
Yeah, unless you want to reset your course down by a fraction and see if it mismatches again.
Yeah, let me just alt that out and then I'll come back up. Now we'll set both our widths because these are supposed to be 13.7. We'll set them both to 13.7. Yeah, and the other thing is too is especially after what happened today, is I've really got to try and get hold of the place and send the PC off to be fixed. I looked at, which means, like I said, anything from a minimum of 2 weeks. (13.7) width. Right, reset. Up. Go on down. See what happens. Right, accelerator pedal again. No, 10 cruise control on. Yeah, and if it's under warranty, it'll be anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. And of course, a couple of weeks, farming zone comes out, and if it isn't under warranty, well, then it's anyone's guess, because then I've got to save up again to buy a new whatever it is to replace whatever's broken. And of course the issue with that, with me not streaming, is people will stop following and then I've got to start all over again pretty much. It's yeah, in that aspect is one of the things that if it is under warranty and takes a month, is a month not streaming. I put quite a bit of time into this. Even though it's about 135 followers, and let's be honest, followers is not the main issue when it comes to the channel, it's how many people watching at a time. And it's definitely not 137, nowhere near it, but still, it's an improvement from when I started, and I'm under no illusion that it could take time, and because the regular viewers know exactly the main reason why I stream, and it's got nothing to do with the amount of viewers. That's just a bonus. If I make money, that's just a bonus. It'd be very, very nice, but it's not the main reason I stream. Is that truck back yet? No, he's on his way still. Yeah, it'd just be, I mean, I'll still stream for the same reason, even if I lose all the followers and interest and have to rebuild, but it's just the rebuilding. Because it's actually nice to know that I've got where I have. To be honest, it's, I don't think anyone would, and if anyone did follow, I would never make it into triple digits. So it's just nice to have that. So we have to wait and see, because yeah, I don't know if you hear at the beginning of the stream, Dave, but yeah, I had another problem, which can only be attributed to the PC, because let's be honest, all the problems I've been having I never had with the old motherboard and CPU until I upgraded it, and having a lot of issues. And yeah, I went to start and I lost the use of my pedals, and OBS had a problem, so I had to restart the PC in the middle of the countdown. So I started my stream a little late because of it. I'm going in cab because for some reason, as the sun's going down, when you're outside a cab, it seems a lot darker than when you go inside a cab. It seems to get a lot lighter.